Today I'm going to show you how NIS2 asset management procedure looks like and how to fill out this document. And this procedure is very important for cybersecurity management because it helps companies handle these assets throughout their whole life cycle. And this is very important for cybersecurity because these assets typically contain some data or information which is sensitive and therefore raises the level of cybersecurity. Okay, here's the asset management procedure template from NIS2 documentation toolkit from Advisera. And here in this first page, you typically insert your company name, company logo, and some general information about the document, code version, date of the version, author, approver, confidentiality level. And then in the second page, you normally have this change history, which shows how the documents has changed throughout the dates, throughout the versions. Table of contents, and then starts the main part of the document. Now I'll come to this main part in a minute. Let me first explain you what is the structure of this document. So purpose, scope, and users, this is where you describe why is this document written and who should be reading it. Reference documents, you refer here to NIS2, to some other cybersecurity standards like ISO 27001 and to other relevant policies and procedures. And then comes the main part about asset management. So planning and acquisitions, how you acquire the assets, how you plan them before that, and so on. How you track the inventory of all of your IT assets, how you identify, label, record anything related to these assets, how you deploy them, meaning how you normally use them, operationally use them, and who is in charge. Also, how to maintain them, optimize these assets, and so on. How you decommission and dispose the assets, how you control the assets lifecycle, meaning how you update this register of assets that you have, and finally verification and audit of these assets. And then section 4 is about validity and document management. So this is where you define who is in charge, who is the owner of this document, and how often it needs to be updated. And then you also specify what are the appendices, and typically this is this IT register of assets. Once you scroll down to this main part of the document, here you will see that the text is already defined. Of course, you can adapt it to whatever you want. It's fully editable. And wherever you see these square brackets, you have to insert your specific information for your company. In this case, this is your company name. So let's say Test Incorporated. And you move on. So you will see that there is this reference to NIS2. And by the way, I also see these comments here. They provide you with suggestions on how to fill out something, but they also provide you links towards this full text of NIS2. So when you click this link, you will see the full text of Article 21 of NIS2, reference to ISO 27001, and also reference to this disposal and destruction policy. And as you move on, you have to read each and every part of this document and adapt it for what is specific in your company. So for example, who is in charge of the assets in your company, and you can read what is suggested here. As you can see, it's suggested here that this could be an asset manager or someone in charge of IT. Let's say that you have asset manager. Let me get rid of these square brackets. And if you don't need this comment, you can simply delete it, not to get into way, and you simply move on. Review annually the following elements. You can see, let's say that this is done every 2 years. Okay. And yeah, this is how you do it. You simply go through each and every element of this document and adapt it to your specific needs of your company. So let's say here, inventory management, the job title for asset manager. Okay, this is again the asset manager as I inserted before. Delete the comment and move on. Now, the biggest challenge will be to create this kind of a document so that it actually fits your company the best. And the way to do it is that you take on one hand all the results of the risk assessment and see where are the biggest risks when it comes to handling assets. And on the other hand, see what you already have, which kind of rules you already have in the company for handling assets, and then to bring all these things together. And this is usually done by a security officer or let's say by a CISO in the company. But this person in charge of security needs to cooperate together with other heads of the departments in the company who are already involved in some aspects of this whole process. Some other challenges include not getting commitment from the employees with regards to this kind of procedure, and also the amount of time that you need to invest to write this kind of a document. Now, to get the commitment, it's best to organize training and awareness So awareness program where you will explain why this kind of asset management is important, so for employees to appreciate actually why this needs to be done. And training which explains them how this needs to be done, what are the methods, what are the, let's say, tools they have to use to be able to carry out all of these activities described in this kind of a document. And to resolve this challenge of having too much to write, I'll show you now how to use this document wizard from Advisera's AI-powered toolkit to speed up the writing of this document. Okay, once you log into this NIS2 documentation toolkit software, you simply scroll down to this folder 8, Cybersecurity Policies and Procedures. And when you scroll down to 8.7 Asset Management Procedure, you click it, and then this document wizard will open. And here you will see these fields where you have to enter certain information. So what is the name of the person to approve this document? You already see that this John Smith is already entered because I entered the same name in some previous documents that I filled out. And then the software remembered that this is the most likely person actually that needs to be also listed here. So the software automatically filled this out. What is the confidentiality level? The same thing, this was entered before. Let's move on next. What is the job title of the person responsible for IT asset management? And here you already have a suggestion who this might be. So let's say this is asset administrator. Okay, let's move on. Which IT department is in charge of procurement of the assets? Yeah, purchasing department, let's say purchasing department. You move on next. There are some other questions. If you don't want to answer them, this is fine. You simply click next, and then you can download the whole document. You'll see it takes only a couple of seconds. You click it. And now here you see the document which was generated out of the wizard. It's slightly different from the document I've shown you previously because this one already has this information filled out through the wizard. You see here this logo. And this logo, I uploaded it before into the software because I created some documents before, and then the software automatically inserted this logo, the company name. It inserted also this approver, John Smith, also the confidentiality level. As I move further, you see that it already filled out the headers, that's the name of the company, internal use. And let's see what else the software inserted, the company name. And yes, you can see that the job title for handling assets is Asset Administrator. You can see it's inserted it here, inserted it here, inserted it here, so you don't have to bother to fill out this information all over again. This is done automatically. So the point here is the more you use this wizard, the more the software understands how your company is organized and the quicker actually you become in filling out these documents. Hope this was helpful, and to see this asset management procedure for yourself, sign up for the free trial of NIS2 Toolkit. Click the link to the toolkit in the description below, and you'll be able to see the free demo of this document and also other documents from the toolkit, and you can also try how this document wizard works. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, and you can also subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking the subscribe button below, not to miss my new videos. Thanks for watching!